Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Simply Shed Talk Show, live with myself, Andrew Boyle, and
Peter Miller. I am here in the flesh. And sorry, guys, we are running just a little bit late, but that was all my fault. I'm here in one of my lots and just had a customer come in and buy two buildings from me. And so that's what we like to start the show off on is a positive note.
absolutely, I'm over here doing some work building a wall currently today at one of our Airbnbs, and so luckily I get to take a break from doing all the work, and so let's make this show as long as we possibly can today. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us again really quickly. You can watch live on the Simply Shed Talk group, the Shed Sales Summit Facebook page, or on YouTube at Simply Shed Talk. If you click the notification, you'll get notified when we go live. But the show is all about you guys. We want to talk about something that is in the industry that is on the breaking news or the hot topic of the day. Just click the link in the description, whether that's YouTube, Facebook. Click the link, and you'll be joined on stage. We'll let you guys in, ask your question, come here to talk, come here to advertise something you're selling, whatever you want to do, get it out to the shed industry. Also, you can comment and ask a question, or you can text me if that is easier. You can text me at 352-440-0786. I'll get your question live and I will get that asked to either one of us or whoever decides to join us today. But today, Peter, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'd like to talk about some of the different systems that we use in our shed lot. And so one of the things that we do is we are um, works with RTO National, and we work with the DMS, which is the Dealer Management Service. And it has been something that we've used now for going over right at 4 years. I know we had some access before, and one of the things that when I talk to other dealers and manufacturers and different things who use RTO National is the ease of use with that system, being able to put clientele's information in, being able to search for the different things in going on there. It's been really a game changer. But here, just recently, we started carrying Eternity buildings, and they've also got Shed Suite. So I've got the opportunity to start using Shed Suite. We also uh, use Shed Suite up in our Dalton location. And so being able to use that, I know it works with Shed Pro and Idea Room, and being able to put the customer information in and then also track that across the board. And one of the things that I don't know, but one of the things I wish would happen is that maybe some of these systems would talk a little bit better back and forth amongst themselves. When you have to go into one system to put something and then you have to go into a different system to put something, it's just repetitive and time consuming.
Is this
Oh,
like a paid ad by Shed Suite RTO National where you get like a
no.
kickback? Because I feel like I don't know about this. Should I know about this? I mean, who out there for RTO National is listening and can join in and let us know? Um, but yeah, so real quick, a shout out to I think they're called Identity Grow. Is that what it's called, Peter? The little nameplates.
Identigrow, Identigrow.
Identigrow, whatever it's called. If you're on, jump in and tell us. But the air conditioning here at the place, the Airbnb I'm at, wasn't working, and so I know we had called somebody before to fix it. And I was telling the guy that's working with me, I was like, "Hey, I'm just going to go to the AC and I'm going to look and see who installed it. So I'll call them because they know exactly what's going on." Lo and behold, guess what is not there?
A
A,
name tag.
a name tag. So I had to Google who to call, and the first person that pulled up, they had the 5-star reviews. I clicked them and called them, and they're coming out today. So I do apologize if I'm sweating a little bit, and the lighting here is absolutely terrible.
I was,
But that's the
is
that's the thing of going live. It's where we're at for the day.
Well, see, it's like the how do you say anonymous? It's kind of like, you put somebody on stage and they don't want to show their face. It's kind of like that. You see all these clouds and, right behind you, you see the lake and different things there, but I can't see your face. It's like, who am I talking to? I know the voice, but I don't know the face. But
Absolutely. Yeah. So Peter, what other processes or procedures do you put in, not just like a POS system, but like process do you put in for maybe responding to Facebook messages or following up with leads? I know you guys are big on that. Like, what other processes or maybe new ideas or something you've tried recently at your lots to that kind of would go along with those systems and procedures you put in place?
yeah, I'll tell you what the old-fashioned way was, and then what we do now. The old-fashioned way was a spiral-bound notebook, and the customer came in. You wrote the name, you wrote the number, you wrote the email address, you wrote down any way to get back with them, and then you wrote down the different notes. They like Kentucky Fried Chicken, or don't like peanut butter, or whatever the little notes that you gained your rapport with the customer with, you put into there. And on slow days, you just went back through that. And one of the ways I did it was I would do a check mark up in the top corner if I knew that I'd sold the customer, or you had a little area where you could write notes. Hey, followed back up with them at this date, at this time, they said this. So that way it triggers your memory to be able to go back into it. Well, that has all been trumped, I should say, by modern ways of doing that. One of the ways that we do it, we use a company called Go High Level. A lot of other companies in the industry have taken that system and made it better and turned it into, I know, Velocity 360, Shed Suite once again, and I know there's others in the industry that have used that basic program and then made it better to be able to follow up. But we use the program Go High Level, and it tracks every single phone call that comes in, every single text, every single social media response, as long as you tie these into that system, and it puts it into a CRM to be able to follow up with them. You can put automatic responses if it's after a certain time. Let's say your shed lot closes at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and you're not going to be there until 8 o'clock the next morning or 9 o'clock the next morning. You can automatically have that text come back. So that system has automated a lot of the manual labor that would go into that. But you still have to have the person do the actual follow-up to close the sale and so on.
So I just learned this the other day, but for all the iPhone users out there, did you know that there's, I don't know how long it's been there, maybe a long time, but there's a send later option now in your text messages?
Yes.
I learned that the other day and I was like, what in the world? When did this come out?
So,
But don't be knocking on the spiral notebooks and ink pen. A lot of people still use that, including myself. And so we actually had a regional manager one time that was over, I think, 20 of our locations. And they were very good, remembered a bunch of stuff. And but one of the keys or that person did was they had a notebook or a binder for each location. And they would keep notes like, Peter Miller's, 5-year anniversary is coming up. His birthday is um, December. Birthday in December?
mhm.
Okay, his birthday's in December. See, I remembered that. But he would write all that stuff down, and then would be every time before he went to a location, he'd get his notebook out and he would look at all that. And so when he went in, he would be asking those questions. And then when he left, he'd he'd get in his car, go back to his notebook, and write down some new things that he learned about that individual. Because now the next time you're like, hey, remember the last time you were here, your kid was getting ready to do this, and then it's always impressive that you remember that and you care. And it was just kind of things to remember and stay on top of those things, and it worked out really good. But another thing with the high level and stuff, we don't use that, but email reminders. I had an email from or a text from my accountant the other day. I think I told you this, Peter, but um, email him and said, "Hey, I know you said to pay this bill, but that company's been closed. If I'm gonna go ahead and mail the check if you want me to." And I was like, "What? What in the world? Like that company's been closed. Why would we pay that?" Come to find out, it was an automatic. reminder every so many months to pay that bill that we never shut off, and it got emailed back to the accountant, and it was from me,
Mm.
but it was just a reminder. But those little tools like that can definitely help. So if you have questions about that, or maybe you have a system, please click the link, join the conversation, ask the question, call us, email us, text us, give us
So
smoke signals. But also, Peter, real quick, I don't think I know last week we didn't know, but this week, the big question, where are you at today?
So I think we should create a game out of this, like guess where Peter's at type thing. Every week, if you guess the right place, then I don't know, maybe we just do it the shout out. So like in the comments below, you have to guess which location or where I'm at, which state, which country, which county, wherever you want to, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna put it that way. I will say I'm at one of my lots today, and thankfully was able to come in here, and customer was helping him. Sold 2 buildings, a 20 by 40 garage and a 20 by 40 carport, and then he's looking at getting another 20 by 20 carport on top of that. So I see that the comment says home, and that is incorrect. I am not at home. I am at one of my locations, and Peter Boyle, my business partner, is I think playing a joke on me, but well, hey, we'll take it. We got our first guess.
So, Peter, back to that thing is that customer that came in, how did they hear about you? Did you ask that question? It's the big key. This is putting you on the spot here. Did
Yeah,
you ask how they heard about you, why they came in? Is it one customer that bought 2 buildings, you said, or is it 2 different customers?
one customer that bought 2 buildings. So I did not ask that question because this customer was here yesterday.
Oh,
Hey, this is honesty live. This is what happened. They had been in here yesterday, talked with my sales employee, and they had gotten quotes already. They came back in, and they were going to get more quotes to take back and talk about it. I said, well, do you want to just go ahead and get the order placed so that way we can get this thing going? So I asked for the sale, and the customer went ahead with proceeding with that. Because if I would have just printed out the quote and let them go on their way, we potentially may not have that sale. So thankfully, we were able to get that sale. And that's one of the things, going back to the sales side of it. Hey guys, if you've spent the time to be able to find out what the needs are, you've written up a nice quote, make sure you're asking for the sale. That's I know it can be a little bit of a rub, but if you're not asking for the sale, that's generally the reason they're there, is to buy something. And I don't know if it's coming through. It sounded like, is
you're
the
good.
audio good still? Okay.
Yeah, you're good. So
Um,
I was in one of your lots, Peter, the other day, and one of your salespeople, shout out to Armando. Um, I was telling him
Armando, hey Armando, if you're listening, you gotta comment in here.
so he was doing the sale and asked all the right questions and asked for the sale, and I told him like, um, that's a great job, and I was like, and he's like, are you serious? And I'm dead serious. Like, a lot of people don't ask that, and even my daughter, she's a teenager, and they were doing a scavenger hunt the other day at Walmart, and her team she was with, um, she's very outgoing, and the it was like, you know how teenagers do scavenger hunts, like, everybody in a cowboy hat or doing a funny, song. So what she was doing, a couple of them, she would actually ask a random person to do it instead of them doing it. So it's like even funnier because a random person's doing it. And she's like, on the way home, she was like, Dad, everybody like in my group, they were like, they didn't want to ask. They were like scared to ask. Like, are people really scared to ask people? And I'm like,
Mm.
yeah, I think they are. And like, she was like just blown away. Like, why would you be scared to ask? But if we could get that mentality in our salespeople and in ourselves, even when we're selling, because we don't always do it, but if you're just simply ask for that sale, like my daughter when she was doing I mean, she got customers to do stupid, like put hats on and do certain things and sunglasses and to say random sentences. Um, she got the customers to do it, and so did other teens as well. Um,
So
that stay all they did was ask, and it's a weird, like, can you imagine going to a customer and be like, a random person be like, hey, can you put this hat on and say this, like, for a video? You know what I mean? But
Well,
you
think
know,
about Texas Roadhouse when you go there. What do? They bring out that saddle. They make the birthday person get on the saddle, and then they all sing real loud to them, and they have to do the yeehaw, and they get everybody around them involved in that. Now, I'm sure when they first do that, the first time that those employees are doing that, they're probably nervous as all get out. But they do that, 20 times in a week or so. Then it definitely is going to make them less at ease or less nervous about doing that. So I'm reading this comment. Did you ask for a referral? Man, I'm really getting put on the spot. I did not. Um, one of the things that does happen, and I'm going to make an excuse for myself here.
okay,
I was
let's
at
hear your excuse.
158 and then 159, and I knew at 2 o'clock I was supposed to be getting on this, and I should have put that out of my mind because the customer was more important than getting on here on Simply Shed Talk. But I was trying to get on here as quickly as I possibly could, and so I do have his card right here. So being able to reach back out to him and ask for a referral definitely can do that. But don't do what I did. Ask for the referral.
So we should do like the Grant Cardone style, where like we have you call the customer back live on the show and
Oh
see if you
man.
can close them on the show.
Oh yeah, that
We
would
don't
that
have the
would definitely
capability
be
to do that,
pressure.
but maybe one day. I mean, you're the sales trainer, so I mean,
Hey,
uh,
we'll definitely do our best to do that. And boy, when you have a bunch of eyes on you, just like you were talking about when you're going into a store or when you have different people and you're asking those questions, it's one thing when you just have the customer there. But man, when you have a lot of people saying, "Man, I could do that a whole lot better than he did," well, you probably could. And I definitely am always learning. So if I do it wrong, I want to get better at it. So don't.
well, I think anybody would take selling two sheds to one customer. So if you forgot to do a few steps, but that goes back to the point. Even the person that's doing the training, and we talk about this a lot. Me and Peter about the Shed Sales Summit. We probably talk 3 or 4 times a week at length of the Shed Sales Summit, who we have coming and how we're going to make it and how do we make it beneficial and how do we make it exciting and how do we make, content. And so we're literally talking about this every day. We're watching um, like shows and how they put them on and we're going to events. And so we are invested in this industry and not only, but how do we train people? How do we excite people? And it goes back to the point of we're doing it, every day, 7 days a week, and yet we still miss steps. And
Mhm.
that goes back to the point. It's very important to constantly reminding yourself, not just like, okay, a lot of people, I already know all that. I don't need to listen to training. I don't need to role play. I don't need to do that. I know how to do it all. Well, this is just fact is we're all human and we're all gonna forget to ask for referral. I know we're beating Peter up, but that's I don't think anybody out there, you might say, I ask for referral 100% of the time, and you might be right. But I guarantee you don't do everything 100% of the time. You don't ask for the sale. You don't ask for the upgrade. You don't ask just because we're human. And so it's very important to get your process down and whatever
Mhm.
that is. As far as like reminders on your desk, I like to put stuff on my desk where we have water and we offer bottles of water. Well, that's your opportunity to ask for something in return. And there's little cues that you can put on your desk in your showroom that it kind of helps remind you. Now, are you going to remember 100% of the time? No. But
Right.
Peter's grabbing something to remind him. Oh, Google
Google
reviews.
reviews. So it's right here on our desk. And I did not ask him for it. That's
I
shame
didn't
on me,
ask him.
but it's literally right there. So it's right there, and I didn't do it. But what I'm saying is we have it right there, so that way we can ask it. And I'm pretty sure you could ask pretty much go into any of our locations and ask if I remind them about reviews and asking for reviews. And I try to make that one of the things that we do because so many more people. And I know we started off talking about systems, and one of the things that I will say is some of those systems will automatically send out requests for reviews, um, and that's one way. So that way, if any customer comes in and you contact it or have their contact info, you're able to respond to that by sending out a request for a review from a customer. But when you do it in person, it just makes it that much more important, I guess, and personal.
A tip for that to get in reviews and to get your people to ask for them is one, you could do contest. I told you the idea of doing like the free candy for the customer. Another idea, if you walk into any of our furniture stores, you'll see on the door when you walk out, it says, if you are not offered a warranty, you get it for free or some kind of verbiage like that. And so the rule is if you don't ask, if the salesperson does not ask the customer, then it's, it falls to that salesperson. And so you could do this something like that on your door, like, didn't get a review or didn't sell the whatever you guys offer, receive $25. It's like Dairy Queen, but if they don't flip the cup, if they don't flip the blizzard
Yeah.
thing, it's free. Every time we go to Dairy Queen, like I don't remember that. Every time we go to Dairy Queen, my kids are in the back seat, like they're watching to see if they flip it. And a couple of times they didn't flip. They're like, Dad, tell them. And I'm like, I'm not telling these people that they owe me a free blizzard. But it's stuff like that
Well,
why when you go to Dairy Queen, 95% of the time they flip the stupid thing over because probably I'm
after
gonna guess they have to buy it.
after the fifth term, they're like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing it anymore. You buy a whole van load of blizzards for your kids. They're like, we're getting one for free. But hey, I think that is definitely something you could put incentive into your customer or your employees. If they don't ask for the review, then they get a free whatever. And maybe you could do it the incentive the opposite way. Hey, are you willing? Are you willing if your employees get you more reviews for your business? Are you willing to pay them for it? Just a question. I mean,
So I told you the Idena Grow or what I can't remember I see it on Shannon's podcast, the Shed Geek podcast all the time.
yeah,
The story. But anyways, whatever you
Identigrow.
call Idena Grow. There we go. Sorry, Idena Grow. Idena Grow. Free shout out. On the sticker on my AC. Well, when there was no sticker on my AC, I just Googled AC repair near me, and it popped up. And there was a couple, and there was one that had 4.9 star, 4.9 average, and the other one was like 4.5. Any guesses which one I clicked and called?
4.9.
The 4.9, because I didn't have any loyalty to any ABC, AC, or Peter's
Did you,
AC or Jim Bob's AC. The only thing that stood out, the only thing is that right there on Google it says 4.9. And so that's
yeah.
the first one I called. Of course, they answered. I scheduled it. They're coming today, and hopefully they're going to get repair out of it or whatever they're going to charge me for. And they just got a sale. They just got a sale simply by getting 5-star reviews.
So it was interesting, and I'm not real, I guess on the systems technical side of things, real good at that. I think Peter Boyle's got that down a little bit better. But one of the things, I got an email the other day from Google, and it said your analytics from your, one of the areas around one of your shed lots. And it put it right there. There was like, we were mentioned, I think it was two out of, there was us and then a competitor and then us and then Home Depot as far as what Google referenced. And this was going back through AI. I'd have to look at the email a little bit more. But it was interesting because it pulled from our ads that we were running on Facebook about what the current sale was. And so AI is reading whatever the ad is and then pumping that in to search details to be able to increase your visibility when somebody's searching for shed near that location. I thought that was really interesting. And so I'm curious to see as that grows a little bit, there's a lot of communication, a lot of conversation about, Facebook Marketplace and how ads are running and how things are doing. If you do a free ad placement, you're going to probably get a lot less quality of a marketing budget than if you go through a paid. And I think that goes back to Google. I was listening to a podcast from Shannon. They were talking about this as well. Google's paid advertising is going to get you somebody who's specifically looking for a shed. I think Facebook and Google both can get you that. You're probably going to get a lot more eyes on Facebook just because people are on it more often than Google. They don't just get on Google to spend 5 hours out of their day. People get on Facebook to do that. And so those ads are definitely highlighted in that. And I can't wait to share with you guys. I know Andrew is tired of me saying this. I cannot wait to tell you who we are going to have at Shed Sales Summit. I know we're waiting, I think it's still next week or the week after to reveal that. But guys, it is going to be awesome. You don't want to miss it. Shed Sales Summit in Knoxville, Tennessee, coming up in September. If you haven't made plans to attend, you're going to want to come and see who we have. You're also going to want to network. High value on networking. Because I think about it, Idenigro, who you mentioned, he was back in 2023. We sat across from the guys there at Idenigro and we talked, we were eating, I think it was at some, I don't even know what type of restaurant. It was a pretty nice restaurant, but I think about it, like that was the networking that we started off. It was like, I'd seen him on, podcast or things like that, heard about him, but then sitting down face to face, getting to have that networking time was very beneficial. And that's one of the things that is, comes with the Shed Sales Summit that a lot of people aren't going to think about right off. But you are in a room full of people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. And if you can gain a little or glean a little bit of knowledge and information from somebody else that you can take back with you to be able to use in your own shed lot, then it's just going to help you and your customers all that much more.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, real quick, I've been talking about the AC story, but this is pretty cool. They just text me a
It's hard to see
picture.
there. Okay.
They text me a picture of the guy and said, "Hi, your technician Jonathan Rodriguez is on the way to this address." That's pretty cool. I've never seen that before, but it was basically so you kind of get to know them before you do. I don't know if any headlots out there do that. Maybe with your drivers, it'd be a kind of cool idea. Um, but absolutely, I think we're going to be announcing that here soon. Peter, I know Peter's excited. I talk about it all the time. I think he's read his book like 32 times now. Um, but anyways, we'll get more details out as we get closer. Peter, anything you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Yeah. So one of the things I know we go live here on Wednesdays, and we try our very best to get on at 2 o'clock Eastern. But one of the things is I know I was working with a customer right before we got on here, right? And so you guys aren't always able to get on when we're live. You're not able to then join the platform. I understand you guys are busy, but one of the things is it plays back on there. You're able to comment on there, and if we see comments on there, we would love to be able to then try to answer those in a following episode. So if you have any comments or anything along those lines, we want to be able to help you guys out. Feel free to comment on it. If you have a question about certain thing, maybe we can get a guest on here that you guys would want to ask questions to, and we'll work on doing that. This is a live broadcast, so it's not something that we can, we don't do a whole lot of planning ahead of time. So if you can hop on, just say hi, ask your question, hop right back off. We love doing this, and we love being able to help the industry that we're part of.
Absolutely. Don't forget, join the Simply Shed Talk Facebook group, the Shed Sales Summit Facebook page, or the Making Sales Simple Facebook page. Turn the notifications on, and you'll get notified because we go live directly to those pages. And so you may see this somewhere else, but if you're part of those groups and you turn on the notifications, you will be notified live. So we will see you guys next week. Please, if you have any questions, please text us, email us, or any topics you guys want to cover, and we will be glad to cover those. You don't have to come on if you don't want to, but send us those things in, and we will get your guys' questions answered by whoever or your topics. But thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
See y'all.